welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Crisis in Victory. Pretty sure I got that right. He can say his name, what he does in the band.
What's up, guys? I'm Eric Shreds, and I am the vocalist of Crisis in Victory.
Awesome. So my first question, Eric, obviously you're familiar with the channel. I guess, how did you start out this band? How did you get your members?
So this band started about 5 years ago, and it started with a different lineup. It was definitely a different time in my life. I'm not going to really get into like the history of the past of the band, but after a few years, it kind of just became a thing that wasn't enjoyable anymore. So long story short, stopped doing it, stopped working with the people I was involved with at the time. So then, I stopped doing that, and then instantly I started doing more in the music world, touring more, joining other bands. And then after a while, I kind of hit a point where I had like a solid group of people I was around.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, it's time to like do this. I have a group of people that I can, trust, who are ready to put in the work. And, we kind of just decided like it's time to like put music out. We've been writing and we've been doing all this stuff, and it's time to finally do it. So we did it, kind of by accident, but we did it.
Awesome. And like, how is your? I for those who aren't familiar, you also do stuff with Escape the Fate as well as Dead Rabbits. Obviously, Craig Mabbitt related bands. So how do you bring that sort of like? Did you bring any of that sort of stuff, like learning stuff from like Craig and how he does his two like bands in terms of like getting people like behind you that like believe in what you do and like have that sort of solid base and stuff like that? Because I know, like I said, we've met not only by doing this but also like in person while you've been on tour and stuff. So like, were you trying to look for people in that same sort of boat of like, they have the experience, they like want to do it, like not just as like, oh, I want to do this as a hobby, I want to do it as like a profession?
Yeah, well, so for the people I found for Christ specifically, the drummer, actually the two of them, I've been in bands with them for years and years. Everyone kind of just had some like personal life things to take care of over the past couple of years. The drummer for Crisis also drums for Dead Rabbits.
Cool. Okay.
So, we do that a lot together. And then our guitarist, he was jamming with us when we were doing stuff with Whitney Payton, because, same people. We were playing as a live band for Whitney Payton. Essentially, the band that's Crisis of Victory has just been the three of us that have been just live bands for all these different artists. It was just like, it's fucking time to do our own thing.
And it just felt like natural because these people, you've worked with them and you know how they are, and so there's that naturalness that comes with like working with somebody and knowing. So like I totally get that in that respect, because like you're with them, like if you go on tour you want to have that same sort of mentality of like, okay, I get where you're coming from because I've toured with you, so I get it. So that's really cool. I'm glad you found a solid base of people to do it, because I know like we've been talking for a while, and I know that like you got a great voice and you got some really great shredding ability. So I was like, I hope Eric comes out and like really kind of kills it, because I see you on tour and I'm like, man, I was like, I hope he's like writing new stuff. But we keep in contact for sure. But my next question, Eric, obviously like we've been mentioning a lot throughout this interview, you've been touring. So what are some favorite venues or like cities that you've stopped in that you've really enjoyed over the past couple times you've done touring?
I always love going to Colorado. It started off that I first was just really excited because it was the first place that had, legal weed, and I thought that was the coolest thing. It was a whole new world to me, but, it definitely very quickly became beyond that. I have not played a single show in Colorado that I haven't loved. Just the environment there, the people there, everything about it is just fantastic. But apart from that, favorite venue, that's a tough one. I really like the Agora in Ohio.
Okay,
that
cool.
Been pretty rad. But I don't really have many like specific places other than that. Most places are just kind of overall rad.
That's awesome. Take what you can get kind of situation, I would assume.
Yeah.
Awesome. My next question, Eric, to follow up, the venues, what was the last show that you attended?
The last show that I attended, I just saw my roommates actually at a local show, not
Sick.
here, too long ago. They're called Parallels. But before that, I want to say the last big show I attended was I went to the Devil Wears Prada 10-year anniversary.
Ooh.
That was pretty cool, seeing the it was just rad. Definitely some old, like, teenager Eric metalcore fangirling happening.
Awesome, awesome. I'm waiting for them to come around Philly, because unfortunately the routing that they had didn't come to Philly, so hopefully in 2019 they do it, because that's like one of my favorite Devil Wears Prada albums, so I gotta come out strong for that one, you know.
Of course.
Awesome, awesome, Eric. Well, my next question, the most important one, what are some of your musical influences, speaking like about you personally, and also about the band as well?
So for the band itself, I don't know, we've kind of taken on a bit of a weird approach to the new music we've been writing.
Okay.
So I just want to start by saying that this album that we just dropped, the Drown Your Sorrows Deluxe, what that album is it's a reissue of our first EP that got released almost 5 years ago, and that EP was 6 songs. And then, you know, towards the end of the band, we recorded another 5 or 6 songs. Well, I recorded another 6 songs. And, you know, my whole, like, thought was, like, cool, like, I'm really happy with those songs, but, like, it's not what we're trying to do.
Of course.
So we dropped all that as the Drown Your Sorrows Deluxe. So everything on that album was written, I mean, the newest song on there was written 3 years ago. So, you know, as for, like, what we're trying to do, you know, kind of where this whole thing started is that me and the drummer Blake, we're just sitting here one day, and we're just, like, we keep trying to, like, force ourselves to write all these genres of music. Like, let's just write what feels right. So as we're talking about, like, influence, like, you know, I can't really say there are any direct influences, because we stopped kind of trying to take that, like, ooh, we're trying to go this, like, rock approach over here like these bands, or we're trying to go this metal approach like these bands. We're just kind of like, this is what we want to do. Like, what feels right? Like, let me play some riffs. You're about that? Hell yeah. We got something that feels good. Let's keep going. But, you know, obviously, though, there are influences. You know, I've been really into bands like Breaking Benjamin, Of Mice and Men.
Yeah.
You know, had like the bigger modern alternative rock bands, I'm going to call them. But,
Nice.
I mean, that's mostly just it. You know, we have a big metalcore background, and then we're really, really about all the big modern, like, hooky choruses that just, you know, give you those chills when they hit.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I could totally, like, you know, get behind that, and, you know, I definitely respect the whole thing of, like, you know, you want to carve your own path in the music, you know, that you write. So I'm excited to listen to the new stuff, because I mean, I listened to the stuff that you sent me over, like, that you had recorded, like, you know, about 5 to 3 years ago. And so, you know, it's gonna be cool to see the progression of, like, okay, when you first started doing this sort of stuff to, like, you know, the most modern stuff. I think it's gonna be a real cool transition. And, like, the bands that you mentioned, like, obviously I grew up on, like, listening to, so I feel like if people like those sorts of bands, like, you're definitely, I'm excited to hear what's gonna be coming next for sure.
Dude, likewise, man.
Awesome, Eric. My next question is a fun one. If you guys could collectively pick a song to cover, what would it be?
Africa by Toto.
Oh, okay.
Always Africa. However, there's a bit of a fear there, because you got to do it right. And, like, how can you do better than Toto?
That's what I'm saying. That's like that's a heavy thing, but I feel like you guys have put that, like, metalcore, like, you know, like, post-hardcore spin on it. I feel like you guys can sell it home. So I'm curious to see what other people think about it, but you know, we'll have to just have people weigh in on the comments and see what's going on. Maybe they might give you a good idea of, like, future covers, you know.
I mean, I'm just going to cover Toto for the rest of my life, so we're just going to roll with that. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, definitely do it, because it will be sick. You know, I don't want to take, like, the rights away, because I know it's your thoughts. So I'm just gonna say, like, I'm just putting that plan into motion a little bit. But my next question, Eric, another fun one. Gotta ask, favorite food to eat?
Favorite food to eat? I love this question, because my answer does catch people off guard, and it is new food. My favorite food to eat is new food. Flavors I've never had before.
Okay.
More than anything else. Like, I could sit there and be like, oh, I like Thai food, Mexican, you know, American. But, like, overall, it's just something new.
Do you
That new
just try to
exciting
find?
new
Do you just
taste.
try to find like new spots? Like when you go on tour, you just like you like hit people up on like Twitter or whatever. Like, what are some good spots in like St. Louis or whatever? And
No,
then like that'd be awesome.
yeah, especially like where I'm about to head over to the UK and Europe. It's definitely kind of just like cool. All right, we're doing a sound check. Time to just walk out and see what I find.
Well, you'll have to. We'll all have to follow you on like Instagram or social media, and you're gonna have to share some of that new food with all of us.
Oh yeah, Eric Shreds,
Eric
UK
Shreds.
Europe Adventures.
There you go. Awesome. My next question, Eric. If you could pick somebody to collaborate with, whether it be a guest vocalist on the newest record or a producer you'd like to work with, who would it be?
If I had to have a singer on the record, I would have one of my best buddies, Craig. It's got to be the thing. It's going good. It's got to be a thing. But a producer, though, that's a tough one, man. That is. I don't really know anymore at this point. There's just so many people killing it in the like genre area that like I want to do. But if I had to like just pick two people off the top of my head, it would either be Matt Good, who I've been working with for the past few years. We have a good like flow together, and I trust him with whatever I have in front of him. But someone I've always been interested in working with is David Bendeth of the House of Black.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I've definitely heard some stuff about him being a bit tough, but like it's tough for the best product, so it gets me really excited about that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I think you offer unique perspective because you also like produce yourself and you record bands. So like, when I asked this question, I was kind of curious who you were gonna pick just based off of like like because you have that background, but you're also a musician too. So like, that's really cool. I'm also really surprised that you guys haven't done anything with Craig, just because I feel like it's just so like. It's so easy for that to happen. So,
yeah, we have a song on like our original EP. It's our most popular song called Crossroads. It's up on YouTube. It's our most popular song by far, and he is on that song. But yeah, I think there's plans getting him on a new song. I've been people have been requesting it on Instagram. I've been tagging him in every post, and every time the response is down. So Craig, if you see this, buddy, let's get this going soon.
I'd be down to see it. I'd be down to hear it without a doubt. So let's get it on, Craig. That would be awesome. But my next question, Eric, you're obviously a producer. You do all that sort of stuff. So I imagine you play a ton of instruments. But if there's one that you could be like extra proficient at, what would it be?
Oh, shit. That is a tough one, man. The reason why it's tough is because I've definitely like strived, especially the last few years, to get like pretty well rounded at everything I do for the sake of the studio and for teching and whatever job could come up. Like I could play the instrument comfortably, but if I got to pick one of the like I'm just gonna call them the mains: vocals, guitar, bass, drums.
Yeah,
mains. I'll just throw a piano in there too. I would say I would want to just get perfect at being a vocalist, because that's where I have the hardest time with anything. I can sit there, it could be 2 a.m., I can sit there on my couch in the middle of the night and just shred all night and practice. I can, come and I can like air drum all day, and it for some reason does help.
Yeah.
Same thing with bass, I could just sit there and go, but, vocals, man, like that's a bit of a hard one. There's definitely kind of a time limit on how much you can work on that in a day.
Yeah, because you don't want to like stress your vocal cords out and all that stuff. So like, like especially on tour, like I can imagine that's like a strain on your body because you always have to like you want to get a proper amount of sleep and stuff like that, and you can only sing so like proficiently for like a certain amount of time. So I would definitely agree with that one. I'm like yourself. I'm also a guitar player, so I also feel like if the question was posed to me, I'd probably say drums because I don't have the hand-feet coordination. So I feel like if there is any instrument I'd want to get good at, it would be that for sure. But my next question, Eric, my favorite question to ask everybody. I'm a huge nerd, so I always got to ask a video game related question. But if you could be a video game character, who would you be?
Ooh, damn. See, why that's a tough one is I can't just pick my favorite video games, because those characters, what they're dealing with kind of sucks. You know, like if I had to say like Legend of Zelda, like, oh, I want to be Link, like say that's like one of my favorite characters, but would I want to be him? Like, no, this is just a dude that's like reincarnated fucking years and years and years. Hell yeah, boy.
I feel you.
Reincarnated years and years just to keep fighting the same dude. Like, I don't know if I want that to be my life, you know? Fuck, and then I was about to say fucking Doom, but, you know,
That's
I don't know if I
even
want to
worse.
be Doomslayer on Mars fighting demons all day. Yeah, that's a tough one. If I had to just say video game character I could be, I would just say your generic Pokemon fucking role player. Because, I mean, like, I could get down on travel in the Pokemon world, throwing some Pokeballs, battling some people. That sounds all right.
That's how I know we're friends, Eric, because for the sake of semblance and keeping with like the answers that people have asked me about the same question, if they've like rephrased it to me, I've also said Pokemon trainer as well. More specifically, gotta rock with the OG classic, Gold and Silver. That's the jam, you know.
See, I don't like the wording there. The OG Classic, because the OG Classic is definitely red, blue, and yellow. But
I feel you.
Gold Silver is my favorite, though, man. Gold and Silver is my favorite.
I mean, I only consider it OG Classic to me because, like, that was the first game that I started with. Then I went back and played Red and Blue, like the originals. So, because we're probably about the same age or pretty close to it. So, but for some reason, I, like, skipped over that, and then I got Silver, and I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, and then I found out there was, like, the first generation. I'm like, how did I miss that? So, that's how I knew. I was like, Eric, that's how I knew we were buddies. Pokemon together. I love that. Next question. In your opinion, who puts on a great live show?
Ooh. I gotta say, one of my favorite live shows, especially bands I've toured with, has been Nothing More.
Really sick.
Yeah, there's just, I mean, you know, there's a lot of, like, kind of, I'm gonna call it theatrics to the set. You know, like, Johnny will have the Scorpion out, which is this big old, like, sampler that he rides and is crazy on. But there's just something about their performance that is just fantastic.
I've heard nothing but great things about this band, and like I've checked their music out, and I like their music a lot too. But like every time, like for some reason, like schedules don't align. But next time, I'll have to go see Nothing More and be like, yo, my boy Eric was right. So I'll have to go. I have to go go watch him. But speaking about best live bands, Eric, if you could compile a dream tour, who would be on your tour?
So one of the jokes lately around, like, my circle of, like, friends is doing a tour that's Escape the Fate, Dead Rabbits, with Whitney Payton and Crisis and Victory open, and just having it just be Eric Shred's night. Play bass for a band, I play an 8-string guitar for Whitney, I play a 6-string guitar for Dead Rabbits, and then I sing for a band. The only thing that could be added is if I have a drum solo somewhere in there. But realistically, though, I would say, though, that I would love to have Crisis and Escape the Fate together, not just because, you know, I'm with both bands, but I've always had a lot of correlation between Crisis and Escape the Fate, even prior to me being with those guys, even prior to Craig being on a song with us. We still were taking a lot of fans from it, not taking, but we were getting a lot of fans from Escape the Fate because we're just a similar style,
of
different
course.
sound, but like there's a certain style to it that a lot of people like to relate as similar. So it'd definitely be those two, and then man, I would just want to go out with some of like my favorite like active rock bands. Bring Me the Horizon of Mice and Men. I gotta get one more. I know I have it. Fuck it, Nothing More.
Nothing More.
That's
All right.
my dream tour.
It can happen. I feel like that's very feasible. Obviously, like, you know, Escape the Fate's been around for a very long time, and they have that, like, you know, staying power. Bring Me the Horizon, they've, like, you know, obviously changed their sound, but they've gotten, like, so big, and, like, it's awesome to see that too. So I'd love to see. Nothing More is another great band that I haven't seen, but I'd love to see too. So I feel like it's possible, Eric. It could happen.
I mean, it would be nuts. I mean, it is possible. Like, all those bands have pretty much toured together at one point, so.
It could happen. Well, fingers crossed, Craig. You're watching this probably. That would be sick if something happened that way. But my next question, Eric, another fun one. Favorite TV show, favorite movie?
Favorite TV show? I don't know why I hesitated, because it's definitely The Office.
Of course.
But favorite movie, man. So this is where it gets a little hard.
Okay.
Favorite movie series is just Star Wars for sure. And that's where it gets kind of hard, is it's because it's like, I don't know if any Star Wars movie is necessarily my absolute favorite movie.
I got
you. Like, if I had to say, like, I have my top 5, like, at least 3 Star Wars movies are in that top 5. But, like, well, I guess I was getting more deserted island mode. Like, what's your, one movie you're stuck with? And I was going to say Step Brothers, but I still don't know if that's my favorite movie, man. I'm going to hit the buzzer, and I'm just going to say Star Wars. In general, if I had to pick an absolute favorite, I'm going to say Empire Strikes Back.
Ooh, that's a classic. I'm about that. I feel your pain on that, because I'm also a huge Star Wars fan too. So that's tough. I don't know. That would be hard to kind of narrow them down. But I like your pick of choice. That's a good one. I'm glad you're rocking with the Star Wars. It's the top choice. But my next question that you kind of hinted at, if you're trapped on a desert island and there's one album you could bring with you, what album would it be?
Is there a Linkin Park Greatest Hits yet? If there's a Linkin Park Greatest Hits, then that. If not, Linkin Park Meteora.
Oh, okay. So you're on that train. I like that. Because I feel like, for some reason, there's 2 camps. Either Meteor or you're Hybrid Theory. And
I love both, man.
I love both. I think I'm kind of in the, I wouldn't even say minority. I feel like there's people that like both, but there's some people that come across and they're when I say Linkin Park, they're oh, I love Meteora, or I love Hybrid Theory. I'm they're both great, you know what I mean? And there's not in years in terms of the albums of when they came out, they're not too far apart from each other. So I feel shouldn't split them up. If anything, they should be together. But I like your pick of choice. Shoutouts to Chester, rest in peace. But great band, great record. But the most important thing, Eric, tell them about your band Crisis of Victory, what you got going on in the next couple months, and where they can find you on social media.
So all social media is at Crisis and Victory. We're pretty active on Instagram and Facebook. Twitter's a little dead, but I just haven't been really using it in a while. The thing that's been a little weird about all these social media accounts, honestly, for the best updates for Crisis Victory would just be to hit my personals, which are all Eric Shreds with a Z. Just because, these Crisis Victory accounts have been inactive for years. So, I have a tenth of the reach on those accounts that I have versus my personal at this point. But it is coming up, so as it's starting to grow more and more, I'm going to start using that account more frequently. But what we're doing for the next few months, the hard thing about it is I'm on tour with Escape the Fate until April. But we still do have plans. We have some new music that's already recorded. We got a video in the works for one of them that we want to drop in February. And then other than that, though, between especially me and the drummer Blake, we're kind of just going to be on the playthrough cycle. So while I'm off in Europe, I'm going to try to find some cool places and do playthroughs, especially the few guitar solos I recorded on the album. Get some cool scenery. Blake's going to be here. Blake's going to have my recording studio, so he's going to be recording some drums and some sick playthroughs. So it's mostly just kind of doing that, getting some traction. And I hate to say that our big goal is to raise funds, but it realistically is to raise enough funds that when I get back from tour, that we have a good set of money that we can keep funding doing new things. Because we want to be able to do a nice high budget music video. We want to be able to go and record more music, have production, be able to develop all that stuff more. So we're definitely going to be really pushing the Drown Your Sorrows reissue, and then our new single that will be coming out harder than most things that we'll be doing, just because we want to be able to push out more and keep going. The whole livelihood of this band really depends. Livelihood.
Yeah,
The life
right.
of this band really just depends on how much we get back, how much interest there is in it. If the interest is there, we're going to equally and then more put more into it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, definitely go check out Crisis of Victory. Like I said, Eric and I have been friends for a very long time, so I always gotta support the homies. He was like, I feel like you were like in the first years of like when I was doing this stuff, so I gotta, like I said, I gotta look out for my good friends and go support Eric. Links are in the description. I'll leave his personal stuff as well as his band Crisis of Victory. All of the links will be in the description. Go subscribe to their YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure they got one. It might be a little bit inactive, but like you said, he'll be posting more stuff on there, I'm sure. So definitely go subscribe to that. I'll leave a link to the end of this video. Go check it out. And if you enjoyed this interview, share it, like it, subscribe. It goes a long way. And if you happen to see Eric in the UK or Europe, go say what's up to him. Seriously, one of the nicest dudes. So he is down to say what's good. And of course, thanks Eric for coming on, man.
Dude, hell yeah, my brother.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.